The biggest gardening mistake you're making right now. You've spent all season nurturing your garden. The blooms have faded, the leaves have turned brown, and now you're standing in your yard with pruning shears in hand thinking, this mess needs to go. But wait, what you're about to do could destroy everything you've worked for. I'm William Scott from Golden Age Gardening, and today I'm going to show you why doing absolutely nothing is actually the smartest decision you can make this winter. Before we get into the details, if you love learning about plants and want to become a better gardener, smash that subscribe button. Your comment down below telling me which plant you're most worried about could help me make my next video just for you. Let's dive in. The real problem most gardeners face. Every fall, millions of gardeners make the same critical mistake. They look at their brown, withered plants and think they need to clean everything up right away. They grab their pruning shears, cut everything back to the ground, and feel satisfied about their tidy garden. What they don't realize is that they're actually stripping away nature's protective system. Those dead-looking plants are your garden's insurance policy for survival. The brown stems, dried flowers, and tangled growth you see aren't mess. They're sophisticated survival equipment. Think of them like a building's insulation or a winter coat for humans. Without it, the plant's core is exposed to freezing temperatures, moisture damage, and environmental stress that will kill it. And if the plant dies, there goes your spring display.
Perennial number 1, the hydrangea mystery. Let me start with the plant that causes the most damage when people cut it back, the hydrangea. This beautiful shrub is deceptive, and that's what makes it so dangerous to prune. If you have the mop head or lace cap types, you need to understand something crucial. These plants are already holding their future inside those brittle brown branches. All the way back in late summer, before the first frost, the hydrangea created tiny flower buds inside the stems. Think of those branches like a time capsule containing next year's blooms. When you cut them down in winter, you're not just cleaning up, you're erasing every single flower you could have had. But there's more to worry about than just losing flowers. When you cut open those stems, you expose the soft inner tissue to freezing cold and moisture. Water gets inside the wound, freezes, and causes damage deep in the wood. This leads to something called crown rot, where the plant's center actually dies from the inside out. The real strategy here is simple. Do nothing. Leave those dead-looking canes standing exactly where they are until spring arrives. The old wood acts like a protective fortress around the sensitive growing points inside. It blocks wind, insulates against extreme cold, and keeps the new buds safe. Once you see green buds pushing through in late spring, that's when you can carefully remove only the parts that are truly dead. This approach is what separates a massive, stunning flower show from a disappointing, bloomless summer. If you've ever wondered why your hydrangeas don't flower like they used to, this is probably why. Please share this with anyone you know who kills their hydrangeas every winter.
Perennial number 2, Sedum Autumn Joy's Snow Trap System. Next up is something that many people don't understand. Sedum Autumn Joy is a natural engineer. This plant builds its own winter survival bunker if you just leave it alone. Look at those rigid, dried flowers. They might look like garden waste that needs removing, but they're actually highly efficient snow collection systems designed by nature itself. Snow isn't an enemy to plants, it's the best free insulation available. A thick layer of snow actually keeps the soil warmer than the bare earth would be. Here's the science. When snow piles up around those standing stems, it creates a microclimate. Under that snow blanket, the temperature stays much warmer than the bitter cold air above. The plant's crown, that's the living core at the soil line, stays protected from extreme temperature shifts. If you cut the sedum back to make your garden look neat, you strip away that insulation and expose the crown to constant freeze and thaw cycles. This is actually worse than steady cold. When the ground freezes and thaws repeatedly, it heaves. Literally, the frozen soil expands and pushes the plant's roots out of the ground. Once those roots are exposed to air, they can't survive. So your job as a gardener is almost nothing. Leave those brown stems standing. Let the snow accumulate around them. Stay warm inside and wait for spring. When the ground thaws, your sedum will come back with even thicker, more beautiful leaves than before. This is the easiest path to success, and honestly, the lazier approach is the right one here. If you're doing this strategy on your sedum, drop a comment and tell me how thick your plants get. Perennial number 3, Coneflower and the Wildlife Connection. Now we move to a plant that teaches us something important about gardening being more than just our own space, the coneflower. When the petals drop and the centers turn into dark, spiky seed heads, this is when the plant's most critical work actually begins. Those cones aren't decoration, they're packed with high-protein seeds. When winter arrives and birds are struggling to find food in the cold, these seeds become a lifeline. By leaving the coneflowers standing, you're creating a winter restaurant for hungry birds. But beyond helping wildlife, you're actually protecting the plant itself. Those standing stems also function as natural windbreaks. Winter wind is incredibly harsh and drying. It can strip moisture right out of the soil and the plant's roots. At the very base of the coneflower, there are tiny new leaves starting to grow, the basal foliage. These delicate leaves depend entirely on the protection of the old dead stems above them. The stems create shadow and physical protection during the harshest nights. If you cut everything down, those tiny new leaves are exposed to brutal winter conditions. The sun reflects off the snow and scorches the leaves. The wind dries them out. The plant wastes energy trying to survive instead of storing it for spring growth. By leaving the mess, you're helping the plant conserve energy for an explosive spring comeback. Plus, you get the added bonus of watching birds visit your garden throughout winter. Your friends and family will think you're this amazing wildlife gardener, and you're barely doing anything. This is the zero-effort strategy that works. Subscribe to see more ways to help your garden thrive while barely lifting a finger.
Perennial number 4, ornamental grass, the water trap danger. Ornamental grasses are stunning in winter. They catch the frost and move in the wind, but they hide a dangerous secret that makes cutting them now a serious mistake. Most ornamental grasses have hollow stems, exactly like drinking straws. In the middle of winter, if you cut those stems open at the top, you've created a direct pathway for water to enter. When freezing rain falls or snow melts, that water funnels right down into the hollow center of the plant's crown. It can't drain out, it gets trapped. When that trapped water freezes, it expands. Plants are made mostly of water, so when ice forms inside the plant cells, it ruptures them from the inside out. This causes crown rot that you cannot fix. The plant simply dies. But if you keep all that dried foliage intact and standing tall, you've created a natural thatched roof. The dense mound of dried blades sheds water away from the plant's sensitive heart. The overlapping stems and leaves create a barrier that keeps moisture out and warmth in. It's like a protective umbrella for the crown. Cutting them down doesn't just make your garden look bare, it actively invites destruction. You're opening the door to the very problem that kills ornamental grasses. The smart move is to wait. Leave them standing through the deepest parts of winter. If you want to clean them up, wait until late winter when the ground is still frozen solid. A frozen ground is actually safer for the plant and easier on your back when you're working outside. Until then, let those grasses stand as a protective fortress. Their beauty and function work together perfectly. Share this with anyone growing ornamental grasses and help them save their plants.
Perennial number 5, Black-Eyed Susans Anchoring System. Black-eyed Susans are tough plants, but they're not invincible to one serious winter problem: frost heaving. This happens when moisture in the soil freezes and expands, physically pushing the plant's roots out of the earth. The sturdy, upright stems of these flowers act as biological anchors. They hold the soil structure together during the rough weather. By leaving the stems standing, you're actually preventing frost heave from destroying your plant. The roots stay in the ground where they belong. Additionally, those spent flower heads catch falling leaves and garden debris. This creates a natural mulch layer right where the plant needs it most, around the crown and roots. This mulch keeps the soil moist and prevents desiccation, which is when plants dry out from wind and cold. If you cut everything back, you remove the primary defense system. The roots become exposed to frost heave. You also remove the natural mulch so the roots dry out. You'd then need to buy mulch and apply it yourself, which is extra work. By doing nothing, the plant does it all for you. The lazy gardener's rule for black-eyed Susan is this: embrace the mess. It's not ugly, it's a functional, life-saving shield. You save time, money, and effort, and you end up with a healthier plant. Stay inside where it's warm. Let your Susans manage their own survival, and trust that spring will bring an even better show. Tell me in the comments if you're going to try this approach on your black-eyed Susans.
Perennial number 6, geranium's built-in insulation. The hardy geranium is a clever survivor that uses its own dead foliage as advanced thermal protection. Many varieties are semi-evergreen, meaning they try to keep some living leaves through the entire winter season. Even when these leaves turn brown and look tattered, they're doing something critical. These overlapping leaves create an air pocket directly above the plant's most vulnerable points, the growing crown. The dense natural insulation traps air, which prevents cold and ice from reaching the sensitive heart of the plant. It's like nature's own blanket. If you remove these leaves just to make the garden look clean, you're pulling that blanket away in the middle of a blizzard. The crown can freeze solid. When spring arrives, the plant fails to wake up. People then think it died over winter, but actually it was killed by their pruning. The best approach is to leave those old leaves exactly where they are. Let them sit through the winter. By spring, they'll start breaking down into nutrient-rich compost that feeds the plant's roots for the new growing season. Your cleanup becomes nearly effortless because the old leaves fall away on their own. This one trick, doing nothing, keeps your geraniums alive and coming back year after year. Once you understand this, you'll never prune them in winter again. Like and subscribe if you want more plants that reward you for being lazy.
Perennial number 7, lavender, the frost wound problem. Lavender is frequently killed by well-meaning gardeners who try to prune it too early in the season. Many people don't realize that lavender is a woody perennial, which means it behaves very differently from soft-stemmed flowers. Woody branches are extremely sensitive to freezing temperatures. When you cut these branches in winter, you create hundreds of small wounds with raw, exposed wood. Cold air and moisture can penetrate these openings. As the moisture inside these fresh cuts freezes, it causes the wood to crack and split. This leads to winter dieback, a devastating condition where the stems rot from the inside. This rot can travel down into the entire root system if the frost is severe enough. Before you know it, you've killed the whole plant just by trying to tidy it up. The plant's lifeblood, its sap, flows through those intact stems. As long as the stems aren't cut, the sap stays protected inside and the plant survives. The unpruned stems act as a sacrifice layer. They absorb the worst of the icy wind while the internal parts stay safe. By waiting until spring to prune, you ensure that the plant's critical systems remain intact and functioning. The rule is this: wait for green buds. Don't touch your pruning shears until you see fresh green buds starting to emerge in spring. That's your signal that the plant is alive in that area and it's safe to cut. This patience is literally the difference between a fragrant, beautiful lavender plant and a dead, gray stump. If you grow lavender, share this video with your gardening friends before winter catches them off guard.
Perennial number 8, Russian sage's oxygen system. Russian sage is a beauty, and it hides a secret breathing system inside those silvery stems. The stems are hollow, and this feature is actually critical for survival when heavy snow piles up. These hollow tubes act as vents. Even when the ground is packed under layers of ice and slush, air can still move through these hollow stems down to the root system. This oxygen keeps the roots alive and prevents an anaerobic environment from developing. If the roots can't breathe, they rot. If you cut the stems back too early, garden debris and moisture can plug these vents. Now the roots are suffocating underground. Even though the plant is dormant, it still needs some air circulation. There's another benefit too. The airy structure of the standing stems helps distribute the weight of heavy snow. Instead of snow crushing down directly on the crown, the hollow stems spread that weight around. This prevents damage to the delicate center of the plant. By leaving the stems standing, you ensure dry roots and good ventilation through the darkest months. You also get the incredible bonus of watching those silvery stems catch morning frost and create stunning winter beauty in your garden. It's like having outdoor art while you stay warm inside. Only once you see new green sprouts at the base should you consider cleaning up the old wood. Being lazy here isn't just easy, it's tactically smart. It keeps your sage healthy and looking dramatic all winter long.
Share this with your sage-growing friends.
Perennial number 9, coral bells and desiccation defense. Coral bells have shallow root systems, which makes them extremely vulnerable to winter damage. These plants are prime targets for a condition called desiccation, where freezing winds literally suck every drop of moisture right out of the roots and leaves. Even when the leaves look burnt and completely tattered, they're performing a crucial function. The leaves overlap like shingles on a roof, creating a moisture-locking barrier over the soil surface. This natural mulch prevents the sun and wind from reaching the crown and drying it out. This is actually the most common reason coral bells fail to return in spring. If you remove these damaged-looking leaves to make your garden look neat, you're stripping away the only protection the shallow roots have against extreme cold. The plant dries out completely. You also remove weight that helps prevent frost heaving. Without those leaves, the roots can actually get pushed right out of the ground. The lazy gardener's rule is perfectly simple. Leave those tattered leaves exactly where they are. Let them serve as a built-in humidifier. They'll practically fall off on their own in spring, making your cleanup job almost effortless. You trust the plant's own defense system, and the plant rewards you by coming back even stronger.
Perennial number 10, Bee Balm and the Insect Hotel. Finally, we come to Bee Balm, which offers the most ingenious reason to embrace your laziness this winter. The stems of bee balm are completely hollow, and these empty spaces serve as the preferred winter hotels for native bees and beneficial insects. Many important garden insects hibernate inside these hollow stems. They wait through the cold months for spring warmth, then emerge to protect your garden from pests and help pollinate your flowers. If you cut down and bag these stems in winter, you're literally throwing away your free pest control team and your future pollinator population. Beyond helping insects, keeping the stems intact also prevents water from getting inside those hollow centers. Water that gets trapped in a hollow stem will freeze when temperatures drop. Ice expands and ruptures the plant cells, causing rot. By keeping the stems closed at the top, you prevent this water problem. This creates a perfect closed-loop system. Your laziness provides housing for nature. Nature protects your plant's roots and provides pollination and pest control services. Everyone wins. You become a guardian for the local ecosystem and your own backyard health. The standing stems prevent water damage, provide insulation, and create habitat. It's the ultimate low-effort, high-reward strategy that pays off all season long when your garden is buzzing with pollinators and free from pest problems. Leave the stems up, save the bees, and know that your winter gardening is officially complete. Comment below and tell me if you've ever noticed bees in your garden.
At the end of the day, a messy winter garden is actually a sign of a healthy, thriving ecosystem. You're not just helping your plants survive, you're creating habitat and food sources for birds, insects, and other wildlife that matters. The garden becomes part of something larger than yourself. By following this one principle and leaving these 10 perennials alone, you're letting nature's own protection plan do the hard work. You put your shears away in the shed. You stay inside where it's warm and comfortable. You trust that your plants are much safer with their winter armor left completely intact. When spring finally arrives, you'll be rewarded. Your plants will come back stronger, healthier, and more vibrant than ever. You'll have spent less time, less energy, and probably less money. You'll have supported your local ecosystem, and you'll finally understand why sometimes the best gardening decision is the decision to do absolutely nothing. If this helped you understand your garden better, please like this video and subscribe to the Golden Age Gardening channel for more tips that save time and effort. Drop a comment telling me which of these 10 plants you grow in your own garden. Share this video with every gardener you know. We can all become better at this together. Thank you for watching, and happy lazy gardening!